Good afternoon and welcome to Double Take Sports coverage of the centenary season of GPS Rugby in Queensland. We're broadcasting live from the heart of the Nathan Sharp Leadership Stand at the Southport School, affectionately styled as the Shark Tank, for a top-of-the-table clash between two undefeated teams, our hosts TSS and Brisbane Boys College. Had we told you 20 years ago that BBC and TSS would be hunting down a GPS trophy with Nudgee College waiting in the wings, you might have laughed. Rest assured, that is the case today. The loser will have their 2018 destiny ripped from their grasp. My name is Nick Darvaniza, and joining me for the very first time is someone who knows this ground all too well. Tanner and Nathan, welcome back to the Southport School.
Nick, thank you very much. It's a pleasure to be with you, and a huge thank you to Double Take Sports for having me in the booth today. Can't wait.
So before we get into previewing today's match, we're going to have a quick look at the round that was. So our GPS round recap, you can see it every Monday on our Facebook page, Double Take Sports. This one here, Gregory Terrace going down to Churchy, 24-12. This try here to Connor McKinlay, the boy from Mackay, streaking through the heart of the defence to seal a big, important win in the battle for the mid-table. Across the field, this team today, the Southport School, had an absolute heartbreaker, or a thriller, I should suppose, and a heart attack risk. Zach Palmer going over in this corner in the narrowest of wins, 5 points.
Unbelievable.
Unbelievable stuff from a team that we thought would blow up by 60. Up the range, Nudgee College, this run here, Bailey Tautau, again streaking through the middle, linking up with Tresman Banjo on his right wing. Streaking away, 62 points to 10 win, firmly establishing Nudgee's premiership credentials, and a huge win up the range. And finally, these boys here, BBC, who we'll see today, 55-12 points to victors over Ipswich Grammar School at the old school campus. This try here, Xavier Savage putting away Shaden Stevens on this right wing, finishing through the middle. One of the best tries of the day, but plenty of talented finishes in their back three.
Look for them today, Nick.
So before we run through the teams, I think the plan is we're going to talk a little bit about the table. So Nudgee College, the Southport School, and Brisbane Boys College sitting undefeated as it stands. But we know for one of those schools, that will change today. In the mid-table, Anglican Church Grammar School and Gregory Terrace sitting sort of in the range. What do you make of that, Tanara?
Well, I'll tell you what, you can never count out Churchy or Terrace. They do have a strong rugby history, but I think Nudgee and Southport are going to be hard to catch.
And one team that's going to look to rise their way up this table, Brisbane Grammar School. Gee, they've been spectacular in the last few weeks.
Well, I'll tell you what, Nick, I wouldn't be too ashamed to be a BGS boy, but it is pretty tough trying to swallow a tough pill there at the back end of this GPS season.
Well, if this match is anything to go by today, or these two previous games in the 16As and second 15 are anything to go by, we're in for an absolute cracker here on the Village Green. Our other live stream match this week, main oval, Churchy and Ipswich Grammar School. Our other stream match across the grounds, State High and Toowoomba Grammar School at State High, and Gregory Terrace playing host to Brisbane Grammar School. Gee, that's a tough matchup. We do have some footage for you, ladies and gentlemen. The previous two games on this main field have been decided in absolute cracking fashion. This one here from the second 15 to win the match from 45 metres out. Striking true, the Southport School remain undefeated in 2018.
Inches, Nick. Inches.
Incredible stuff. The 16As, BBC clawed back a tie in that game, going tied at 12 points all with a kick in the final minute from the far right-hand corner. So it's been close all through the day here at the Southport School. We're hoping the first 15 is more of the same.
As we look at our statistics here in front of our tunnel, TSS versus BBC, you can see the difference here. 316 runs to TSS, over 240 by BBC. The key to me today, Nick, will be the line breaks. Defence will be a massive part of this game. TSS leading by 5 of the line breaks. Our 5'8", Mr. Parada for TSS. He loves to kick. He's got a big boot on him. Carter Gordon, big job ahead of him. 77 to TSS, 45 to BBC. Nick, what else do you make of that as well?
Well, I guess the important thing to keep in mind here is that BBC have played one less game. So when you look at these line break stats, 24-19, the fact that these games have been played over 4 for TSS and 3 for BBC, you can see that BBC's attack is actually slightly more threatening in that statistic. So I think we're going to see a game where maybe in the first half, we'll see lots of kicking from these two wonderful 10s, one contracted with the Crusaders, one contracted with the Queensland Reds, to try and sort of win this arm wrestle in the first half. In the second, it should all open up. Running through the Southport School team in the front row, Tyrell Corpua, Boyd Riddell and Zane Nongor make up a humongous front row. In the second row, Wilson Blythe is met by his captain, Tom van der Schaaf. In the back row, Luke Linden, Hugh Robinson and Reno Gerard. In the halves, Spencer Jeans and Campbell Parata, who we were just discussing before. On the wings, Tom Gibson and Dion Samuela. In the centres, Jesse Gray makes his first 15 debut alongside Ronan Carpi. The fullback, Dion Samuela, coached by Mike Wallace.
And the BBC team taking on Southport today. In the front row, you've got Blair Patterson, Jake Tierney, one of our co-captains, and Oscar Rue. In the second row, you've got Clancy Doe partnering up with Jack Gallagher. The back row is made up of Jacob Blyton, Nick Ward, and Jack Kelly. Moving on to the backs, Will Stevens in the halves with our captain Carter Gordon, once again signed with the Queensland Reds. Our back three, Xavier Savage, Shaden Stevens, and Jack Bauer. And holding down the centres is James Heinrich coming in for Lucas Ripley and Jack Howarth, coached by Shane Drum.
And this back three for BBC, it's going to be very exciting. All three of them absolute track stars in their own rights. All of them running sub 11 seconds in the 100 metres. We're looking down at this tunnel from Southport School. Tanner, you've run through this before, mate. What's that like,
Nick,
for you?
Let me tell you what it's like. You got goosebumps. You've got anxiety. You certainly don't have depression. You can't wait to get out there. You wait till these boys start making the walk from the Nimmo building. It is nothing like you've ever experienced before. I can't wait.
Well, it is, as we mentioned, a potential grand final matchup today between BBC and the Southport School. Both teams undefeated thus far in the season, playing some wonderful football as well.
And here they come. I've got goosebumps already, Nick.
It's been a rivalry that has been all TSS's in the last few years, going up 37-29 in 2017, but then there were a string of close ones. 20-17 the margin in 2016, 17-15 the margin in 2015. It's been one of the season-defining matchups for the last few years, and it's going to be that way once more again today.
Well, if you just look at those results, Nick, you know, BBC, they've had a tough run against TSS, whether they're at home or whether they're away. They're going to come here, and will it be repeat? Will it be revenge? I tell you what, it is a grand final and a great one indeed.
Well, BBC will take plenty of confidence out of TSS's performance last week. They were not themselves. They're scoring before last match about 50 points per game, just looking unstoppable until BGS stepped up and nearly stopped them indeed. They were lethargic in the first half, just didn't look like they'd clicked. Eventually the forwards were able to muscle them through in the second half and earn that win, but it was hard fought. BBC, on the other hand, tremendous display. A few errors, maybe more than Shane Drum would have liked, but they played wonderful attacking football to rack up a 55-point score.
And you'd have to say, going into this match, BBC would be coming in with the momentum, with confidence. Zane Nongor did step up against Emil Tuamavave last week. Two Australian schoolboys going up against each other there. Can Zane do the same today? He definitely will need to.
Battle of the choruses. BBC being drowned out by the Southport School. BBC making TSS wait out on the Village Green in front of the Shark Tank. Our referee, Brett Cronin, is he out there already? He is indeed. It's just the teams we're waiting for. Some proud history of these two schools over the years. 3 Queensland Reds lately coming through the Southport School. Patoa Paraka in 2011, UJ Suteni in the same year, and Jared Butlitner, a friend of yours.
JB, my good mate, he's the new captain of Connacht Rugby in Ireland. He did have a stint at the Reds before going to the Brumbies. However, he's the one that got away.
TSS 6 premierships since the year 2000. Only 10 over the previous 100 years, though. A drought from 1938 to 2001 surely wiped from existence with a string of late premierships.
Indeed, they have. Welcome to the Shark Tank. And Nick, I don't know if you ever played at BBC, but I'll tell you what, they used to make us wait as they walked down from that hill with their bagpipes blasting. I'll tell you one thing. If anything, they're not doing themselves any favours.
Well, this TSS crowd baying for blood. They want BBC out there.
Southport won't like it, but needless to say, BBC winning the mind games at the moment.
Oh, we spoke earlier in the pre-game show about the size of these forward packs, weighing in the front row, 327 kilograms for the Southport school against 326 for BBC. Evenly matched there. Conditions, 23 degrees, 0% chance of rain. You never get much higher than that on the Gold Coast.
Welcome to the Gold Coast, ladies and gentlemen. This is pure Gold Coast weather, and it is winter, Nick.
And you can see the canals of the Gold Coast just behind. Some jet skis going past as well. Gee, a lovely day for that.
Where else would you rather live?
The Highlander makes his first appearance on Double Take Sports for 2018.
Welcome to the Shark Tank, Mr. Highlander.
And finally, with a gargantuan task on their hands, BBC make their way out onto the middle, led by their captain from the Sunshine Coast, Carter Gordon. A real showcase of country rugby on display here today, ranging from Armidale to Orange to Injun to Condamine to Darwin to the Gold and Sunshine Coasts, with players from Dalby, Wirrabin, Cairns and Townsville. This competition has gone truly national, hasn't it?
It's a national game, it's an international game, and it's a spectacle here at the Southport School today. I've got goosebumps, I can't wait, let's get it on.
And I suspect you're not alone in that. Look at these boys.
You can't beat TSS passion, and I apologise if I do make any biased commentary, but put it this way, I won't be apologising after the game. It's just a pleasure to be with you, Nick. And let me tell you one thing. We are ready.
Both forward packs well over 100 kilograms on average. But size-wise, these two teams are perfectly matched. Carter Gordon gets this potential premiership decider underway. Taken there by Spencer Jeans, the halfback. And drowned in the BBC defence deep inside his 22-metre line.
Needs to get it out of here.
Forwards take carry. That might be Luke Linden down there. As Parata putting his first kick of the day up. He doesn't get the purchase on it that he would have wanted. And all of a sudden, BBC with their first attacking opportunity of the day, just 30 seconds in.
Look at our first line out of the day. These TSS boys are trying to drown me out here. BBC very successful on that one there, but if you look there, TSS leading in line-out steals for the season so far.
Phenomenal work there from Hugh Robinson, snuffing out that drive early. As Jack Howard takes the ball into contact. Will Stevens finds Jack Gallagher, the school captain for BBC in 2018. Gordon now taking it onto the line. He'll find Patterson.
Big Zane Nongor defending out in the middle. What's he doing there?
BBC showing some early attempt to go wide. Shaden Stevens there trying to wiggle out of a tackle. The TSS defence up to the task as Gallagher spins. Well, we know TSS are the most effective tackling team in the competition, and some early defensive pressure there causing an error.
Well, I'll tell you what, Nick, TSS has always had strong defence, going back to the days of Graham Hurley, our defence coach. You can see there the 310 tackles in 2018. Their tackle success rate is at 84%. And off the back of that, you've got a 23 turnovers for the season so far. Look for those back rows to peel for the ball. Yeah,
testament to the quality of these TSS open side flankers. There's been an absolute string of them over the years, going on to higher honours. Angus Allen at the Brumbies, one of the latest, the 2016 open side.
Well, let me put you in a time machine and take you back even further. You've got Mitchell Wade, Jared Butler even playing 7, Chris Hanneman. I'll tell you what, it doesn't get any better.
Reno Gerard there, picking up from the base of the scrum and swamped by the BBC defence.
That is a big man.
Oh, great. TSS regather, losing their footing through Samuel, the fullback. He's got some footwork on him, but it's not enough in this case. Taken by Stevens. As Van der Schaaf, the captain, says see you later to Clancy Doe. BBC making an absolute meal of this. Tyrell Corporal needs to pick it up from the base. Linden there in the white headgear, driving over the halfway line. Jeans goes left. Parata, the inside ball to Samwella. Well read. Nick Wall, the open side flanker. Scaife again. One of his number of carries. And the tempo of this Southport School 15. Driving through Corporal now. Jesse Gray on debut. Cops one in the ribs.
Welcome to the Shark Tank, Jesse.
Zane Nongor. 140 kilograms of him. But TSS just slowly racking up the weight of possession. Scaife out of one.
That's his third carry for the game so far, Nick.
It's patient stuff from Southport. This BBC defence is making them work for it. And a knock-on forced in the tackle. So a whole lot of work for not a lot of gain.
Well, put that down to Zane Nongor. He needs to be going forward, not backward. For a guy who's actually lost weight since he was 15 at 140 kilos, he needs to be charging forward. Brett Conan, the referee, not happy. Scrum down. First scrum of the game, is it, Nick?
I believe it is the first scrum of the game. And this matchup here with young Oscar Ruru from Darwin up against Tyrell Corporal, the Australian schoolboy. It's a battle of the future of the Australian schoolboys, current versus the future. And the points go to the current in the first scrum. Jack Howarth now. Bounces Parata out of the way.
BBC are looking very, very hot early on in this match, Nick.
And there's a space out wide to be exploited. BBC go that way. Gordon dinking and kicking behind, but doesn't get the purchase on it that he wanted. Hamish Roberts, the number 14. Samuela, beautiful offload. Boyd Riddell looking for more support. He's found it in Blythe. I beg your pardon, Linden. Cutout ball for Tyrell Corporal. Gives the offload. Van der Schaaf now.
Van der Schaaf.
He's got Tom Gibson on his outside. Can't link up.
Having a massive game is Tom Van der Schaaf.
Spencer Jeans pulls it out of the breakdown, and Corporal, he's back again. He's had so many carries, the big loose head prop. And all of a sudden the heckles are up for Southport.
They're hot on attack here is Southport.
They are right on the 5 metre line. Parata wants it. He gets a pretty ordinary pass, but with advantage on his side. And BBC just like that, well under the pump.
Tom Van der Schaaf, 4 line-out steals in 2018, and he is having an absolutely massive game here in the first 5. Look for Tom Van der Schaaf to make an impact for the rest of this game. Nick, I'm impressed.
Oh, he was in my team of the season last year, Tom Van der Schaaf. Looks like we're going to see a chance for Campbell Parata, the competition's leading point scorer through 4 games, with a chance to open up his side's margin.
An explosive start here at the Village Green today, Nick.
21 from 31 on the season. He missed 3 kicks last week, which did a bit of damage to that kicking percentage. Normally it's considerably higher. And the fins are up in the Shark Tank.
The fins are up in the Shark Tank. I've got my fin up. I wouldn't expect you to have yours up, Nick, but no offence taken.
Clean, compact, and going to take home 3 points.
Straight down the middle, just like Wally likes it. Mike Wallace I'm talking about. Sorry for those who are... I'm getting a bit comfortable in the booth here, Nick.
I think watching that kicking style of Campbell Parata, there's one guy that comes to mind. I'm wondering if you're thinking the same thing.
Well, you say it and I'll agree.
Dan Carter?
Absolutely. If you said Andrew Mertens, I would have said the same thing. I'll tell you what, he is a talent. He was on the front page of the Gold Coast Bulletin this week. Big things in store for Campbell Parata.
As Gordon with his second kickoff of the day, just 7 minutes in. His side are down by 3 points. And Dion Sunweller makes a bit of a mess of it at the back, but cleans up just in time. Puts it highward and into the teeth of this BBC back three.
And you don't want to give it to them on a platter.
The numbers queuing up. Carter Gordon dinking a kick into the space, and that is excellent.
That is a perfect kick, and there's a reason Carter Gordon signed with the Queensland Reds, and that is why. His kicking game is second to none, possibly to Campbell Parata, but I tell you what, these two have a long 60 minutes ahead of them.
Well, it looks like we'll take this quickly, but I think 2018 has been the year of the fly halves. Some wonderful talent across the competition. Campbell Parata and Carter Gordon, the two boys on screen right now. Clearly one of them, but Rashaan Pasatoa has got one more year in the first 15 coming up. He'll be one to watch in the future. Indeed, as Parata pulls out the line drive, left-footed.
That's better from him.
That's more we expect from him. 3 years now in the first 15. Campbell Parata knows this competition like the back of his hand. And now as Jake Tierney looks to throw in, TSS giving him plenty.
It's not an easy job being a hooker in the GPS, I tell ya.
And they've gone short to Clancy Doe twice, maybe trying to avoid the figure of Tom Vanderscape lurking through the middle of that line out.
Well, it's one way to nullify it, Nick.
BBC back to the blind. Tierney wins the throw, backs it up with a carry. Will Stevens has to go digging. He's not going to be able to. That's been won by TSS.
Great pilfer.
Adding one more to their 23 on the season. Jeans finding Jesse Gray for Wilson Blythe, the younger brother of Queensland Reds Lock Angus. He thrilled this stage back in 2016. And there's space out there for Roberts. Accelerating clear. Putting in the kick, he might have wanted that to stay in touch, Tanera.
Yeah, I mean, it's tough when you've only got that, that 5 metre channel to move as BBC take the quick line out. It's tough to know what to do, but I think he made the right decision there.
Carter Gordon, plenty on it. Not finding touch. Maybe an error. Oh, the seatbelt tackle.
And they don't like that here at the Shark Tank.
Some feeling in this game early. Of course, all part of the measures of making the game safer for these boys.
Nick, I was just going to say I used to love a high tackle, but in the essence of safety, I will say that was clean, that it was high.
Too much potential for stuff to go wrong there.
That is a beautiful kick.
Jeez, and we'll find out just how beautiful in a second. 10 metres out.
Look for Tom Vanderscape to take it off the top and drive it down, Nick. Size, strength in the forward pack. You can definitely guarantee that's what we're looking for here at number 2.
Well, looks like a short line out. Reno Gerard lining up in the back line somewhere.
4 channel. Here we go.
Oh, there he is. BBC's defence up to the task now. TSS forced to take it to ground as Jeans goes out to Parata. Cuts out Jesse Gray. Sam Weller with the footwork. He's going to pick it up. Creates some space with the offload. Ronan Carpy now.
He's got to give it here.
Oh, no chance to give it. Roberts was looming on his outside. Possession retained. It's all good. Spencer Jeans. It's even better.
Lovely. Spencer Jean opens the scoring after Campbell Parata with that penalty with a try at the 10-minute mark.
Phenomenal stuff. A former back rower in the age group teams converted to halfback. He's got a wonderful long pass and flashing off a bit of a running game there as well. And really a try created by the footwork of Dion Samuela, opening up the space for Ronan Carpy. And then Spence Jeans spotting opportunity.
Yeah, I think Ronan Carpy needed to give it there, but no harm done in any way. Spencer Jeans saw the opening in that A channel, straight over for the try.
And all of a sudden, 10 minutes in, BBC starting to look at themselves in a bit of a deficit. Parata looking to deepen it.
It's a long 70 minutes though, Nick. It's a long 70 minutes. He's 1 from 1 today is Campbell Parata, the future Crusader. Looking to go 2 from 2 and increase that percentage here this season.
There is a slight breeze blowing from right to left on the camera. The fins are up, and so are the flags.
And he's curled it around. A bit of JT going on there.
Well, that is Dan Carter, isn't it? You remember the game in Wellington? It's a very similar kick.
It is indeed.
Fantastic kick from Campbell Parata. We mentioned in the pre-game show, had a game to forget last week, collectively the team, and looking to erase those memories today.
Well, if you had any doubts about Campbell Parata, doubt no more. The Crusader is back and looking better than action.
Easing through that left post. Gee, it was tight. Van der Scape with the take, and he builds up a head of steam.
He takes a big one there.
Bounces the BBC front row out of his way. It's Parata now. Finds Gordon on the full. And the counter-attackers not chosen. The up and under, the old Gary Owen from Carter Gordon.
That's a nice kick from Carter. Unlucky.
Knocked on. Not a bad attempt, though, bearing down on Reno Gerard. So in the end, something out of nothing, or opportunity created.
No, it is definitely. I mean, I'll tell you what, I'd rather defend it within their 22 than attack at ours. And Southport under the pump at the moment. If you look at our second scrum of the evening, fairly even when it comes to scrums won and lost. TSS 30, BBC 29. BBC has not lost a scrum this season. TSS only with the one. Very, very even up front, Nick.
Between the two of them, 60 scrums with only one lost. That is incredible scrummaging from these two very well-drilled teams. To the blind side now, Parata bringing that left boot back into action. That's a monster kick again.
He's on fire so far, is Campbell.
From the 22 to just shy of the BBC 40-metre line. And when you got a weapon like that, why not employ it? As BBC now, they've gone to Clancy Doe twice. And the short arm penalty goes BBC's way.
No, Wally won't be happy with that. Ill discipline by TSS.
I think anticipating the short throw again.
Indeed.
Stepping in to cut that off.
Well, I like BBC's game plan when it comes. They don't want to go to Van der Scape. He's too strong in the air. Keep it on the ground, keep it away from him. Quick ball. That's what BBC want. They want to use their back three. They want to use, obviously, Carter Gordon. Put it down there and start attacking down there. No point attacking outside their own 50.
And another Gary Owen. Looking to heap some pressure onto TSS in the sun.
Well, exactly
Roberts.
But it doesn't work there.
He's going to go potentially all the way. He didn't look like he was close to being touched. Roberts just short of the 22-metre line, and TSS. Oh, and a mistake there from TSS. Jesse Gray going off his feet at the breakdown, nullifying what was a very promising opportunity.
Well, you can see the director of rugby, Adrian Blundell, going off his chop. That is just another ill-disciplined penalty by TSS. They don't need that. BBC let out of jail once again. And with a guy like Carter Gordon, with a boot like that, you don't want to be found in your own 22, which is where they probably will end up. As you can well see.
Mistake. Dion Samuel takes it out. Cuts out Van der Scape, cuts out Carpi. He regathers, puts on some footwork.
I thought he lost it there.
He's one of the competition's leading tackle busters, Ronan Carpi. Couldn't make it work there. It's Jesse Gray and Blythe. Spitting image. They call him Pete for 2-metre Peter.
And here goes the beast.
Stay on side.
Parata, the show and go and accelerate. Taking the ball upon the line. TSS finding some metres down this blind side. Van der Scape then. Nongor driving.
That's what we need from Zane Nongor.
140 kegs. BBC attempted to slow it down in the rolling wall, but it's front row to front row as Corpor drives ahead. Jeans out of options. Has to scramble out of a tackle himself. A great carry from the Australian Schoolboys halfback. As Gerard finds Nongor. TSSS very content to keep it tight.
Could be a turnover there, no.
Corpor. BBC just not making enough effort to mess up these breakdowns. Oh,
nice hands there by Shane.
Gray left it behind. That's going to be a knock on. It towed the line. Hugh Robinson thought he was away.
Well, if you look at the way TSS are playing, Mike Wallace, he's a big advocate of what we would call flowing water. If water's running down a stream, you always want it to go forward. As we look at Tyrell Korpua, he had a massive game last week, 2 tries against Brisbane Grammar School, up at Brisbane Grammar School. Not the performance TSS wanted, but definitely the performance that Mr. Korpua put on for his team.
Yeah, no complaints there. Getting the win makes everything a lot better, doesn't it?
Exactly.
But 13 errors his side recorded last week against BBC. BBC recorded a similar number with 12, I believe, against Ipswich Grammar School. So they would hope to iron these out during the week, but so far not the case.
Well, in this competition, you cannot underestimate anyone. You only get one shot. You only play each other once. There's no final series. There's no semis or grand final. You get one shot, and you got to take it.
And this is Southport and BBC's shot right now.
Well, this is our grand final, Nick, as you said earlier in the pregame.
Well, Nudgee College hanging in the background. They might have something to say about that, but for now, I mean...
Yeah, you guys need to watch your stability. I'll watch his arms.
Zane Nongor complaining about absolutely nothing there.
He's got a great head-to-head matchup. Patterson, the BBC loosehead, hailing from Armidale. He's played in the A's all the way through. Blair Patterson started at BBC in grade 4 and played A's all the way through with school captain Jack Gallagher.
2 school captains in the same position today. Big scrum there by TSS.
Under 19 rules, they can't push further than that. As Bowie Bowen finding some turf. It's a good kick in the end. Samuela turns it back to Hamish Roberts. A great carry. Beat 6 defenders last week, Hamish Roberts. As Lyndon straightens the attack. Scored a wonderful try against Toowoomba Grammar School a few weeks ago. And now it all opens up for TSS. There's numbers out here. Tom Gibson on debut. Taken by Stevens. He's had some tackling Shaden Stevens to do. It's great offloading for Nongor.
Goes in.
The goose step. Looking to free the arm. He finds Lyndon.
It's opening up for Southport now.
He swiggles out of
and it has.
Lyndon's going to score.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, as you saw very, very well, it opened up for TSS. Luce Lyndon. Total defenders beaten this year is 16. You can probably add 3 or 4 to that, Nick.
Jeez, and in just 2 games starting, I think that's incredible production from the number 6, weighing in at just a smidge over 80 kilograms.
It was the offload by Big Zane there that got Luce Lyndon away. And as you can see, they were expecting him to go down, but he drove the legs and he is over.
Phenomenal try, that man. Started off in the second 15, has earned his right to play in the first 15 for TSS and making that selection count.
Absolutely. Campbell Parada 2 from 2 today. I won't commentators curse him, I'll just let him do his job.
It's a very real, the commentator's curse.
It is. It's terrible. But that's not.
7 points to Campbell Parata's name. The flags go up. And this hole for BBC getting deeper and deeper.
Like I was saying, if you look at the game plan from Southport, they always go forward first. You never spin the ball wide if you're getting momentum going forward. And you can see those forwards are matching up quite well, but it's starting to swing in the favour of Southport. BBC got a lot of work to do.
Carter Gordon goes short.
Great kick.
And Vanderscape up to the task. Robinson goes in to secure that ball. BBC trying to make a mess of it. Reno Gerard plays it short for Boyd Riddell. Making his first appearance in the first 15 this year, Boyd Riddell. Oh, the inside ball. They've gone to that tactic plenty, Southport School, over this year. Spoiled by a knock on from BBC. I think the players can finally take a bit of have a break and have a breath.
Yeah, for at least 30 seconds. I mean, first 15 rugby is never slow, but I tell you what, these guys are working hard.
They're covering enormous distances. It's been end-to-end stuff. Hamish Roberts on that right wing, that booming boot of Paratar and Carter Gordon as well.
I'll tell you
These
what,
forwards have to run a lot.
Exactly, and that's the key for Carter Gordon. If he can really emphasise his kicking game, he's going to get BBC out of trouble. Because at the moment, TSS is just too dominant in the forwards.
Several of these forwards from Southport returning from last year's premiership winning campaign. Korpua, Nongor, Vanderscape and Gerard all back. Spencer Jean's taken a little bit high. Another seatbelt tackle goes unpunished by referee Brett Cronin. Linden, the try scorer. Wrestled to the ground by Gallagher as Reno Gerard.
Here goes Reno.
Offloading Hugh Robinson. Putting
Beautiful
on his
feet.
footwork. Phenomenal shot
That
there.
is massive.
From the redhead. Haven't got a number
He's out.
for him.
He's out cold, Nick.
What an impact from the blind side as well. So it all started here. Linden wrestled to ground. Maybe, Tanera, you can explain this better than I can.
Well, I tell you what, like I said, they got to move forward. And as you see here, Hugh Robinson makes a great bake. Sticks the left palm out. That looked clean to me. That looked clean. I don't think there was anything wrong with that. Fair but hard contact.
Heinrich, the ginger, in the back line, making his first 15 debut, and his presence felt. Tackling with some real venom.
Unlucky for Hugh Robinson. He's been quiet so far. That's the first I've seen of him in this match. But
Oh, it was a promising run,
Yeah.
wasn't it? I mean, these running open side flankers, TSS had so many of them. Luke Papworth back in my days at TSS, followed on by PJ Vandenberg the following year, Angus Allen, Lockie Vine as well from last year.
if you look at the top tacklers in 2018, you've got Matt Engelbrecht, Hugh Robinson, Boyd Riddell. Matt Engelbrecht, is he a Nudgy product, Nick?
He is. He's the blindside flanker for Nudgee College. Tackling his heart out at a very high success rate as well, I believe, over 90%. The same can be said for Robinson and Riddell.
But you can definitely see the two TSS boys coming in a close second and third. Look for them to make their mark here today in defence.
Well, I think it's another product you can see of Campbell Paratas' cooking boot, forcing his forwards to do a lot of tackling.
It's always easier to move forward. Coach at school, Rob Nellen, said it is a blessing to have good backs. And Campbell Parata is one of many here for the Southport school today.
Hugh Robinson being assisted off. He took a pretty nasty head knock, we think. So he'll get checked. That might be a blue card in substitution, actually.
He's got an arm around the lovely Kate Waring, wearing her TSS First 15 jersey. Don't know what she's doing. She's been here for years.
Can she play 7?
Gotta love her. Gotta love her. She makes the best brownies in town, Nick. If you're ever around my place, come on over.
Very partial to a brownie. You're writing checks your body can't cash. Georgie Neal, the number 20 for the Southport school, coming on in place of injured Hugh Robinson.
Georgie Neal playing first 15. How was that?
Have you got a bit of a story about Georgie Neal?
I've got stories about all these boys, Nick. I'll tell you what, Zane Nongor, Georgie Neal, Bo Douglas. I know them all too well. But for our viewers at home, I'll keep it G-rated as I'm just happy to be here in the booth with you, my brother.
Yeah, it's got to be invited back next week.
I'll tell you what. Gregory Terrace here next week, Old Boys Weekend. If you are around, get down to the Village Green and get the fins up.
There's not many better places to be on a Saturday afternoon than the Gold Coast.
Well, let me tell you one thing. Georgie Neal looks like he hasn't put on any weight at all. But I tell you what, he is a strong individual. Good to see his mum still cutting his hair. Big scrum there by Southport.
Phenomenal scrummaging.
And there it is. They were waiting for that.
And it comes to the point, up 17 points. Is it time to take the penalty kick?
I think so. I think if you go out 20, you're sitting fairly comfortably. You don't want to get comfortable. But put it this way, the way Campbell Parata's kicking today is the complete opposite of last week. And I think if they did take the points here, it would be no harm done. And Mike Wallace can relax a little bit.
That's a decision on Tom Vanderscape's mind.
Yeah, I think they will take the free.
I think it's a right decision to make, I think.
For sure.
Got up to 20 points. All of a sudden, BBC need 3 tries converted to be back into the hunt. Halfway through this first half, TSS accruing a foreboding lead. And it might be about to get worse.
He's on fire today, is Campbell Parata.
Too good. Hasn't looked like missing.
I'll tell you what, they made it easy for him.
Well, Tanner, have TSS been doing anything that's more than just simple rugby?
Well, it looks like a new look TSS team. I mean, I haven't seen a TSS game since 2013, but like I said, they're playing off the back of their forwards. I mean, how can you go wrong with Zane Nongor, Van der Skeff, Reno Gerard? If you're moving forward, you're doing something right. So they are doing everything right at the moment.
Jeans fielding the kick on the 22-metre line, finding his trusty kicking option, Parata. Stevens diffuses.
Now, this is what BBC needs to do. They need to use their back three, but they got to kick and chase.
Shaden Stevens on the right there. Ran a 10.7 on hand time not long ago.
Got to go to the left. BBC numbers to the left.
Gallagher straightens up the attack, trying to suck in some more numbers. Is the opportunity still there, though? Gordon short for Jack Kelly.
They're hot here, BBC.
Oh, I thought Bowen had that. Clancy Doe into the teeth of the defence. Wrestled down by Jesse Gray.
Look for BBC to shift it hard here.
As Howarth off the right foot, fending. He's still on his feet.
He can
He's
go all the
score.
way. He scored. Beautiful try there by Jack Howarth.
Phenomenal, putting the team onto his back.
Well, like I said, Nick, you know, that penalty did send Southport into their comfort zone, and BBC said, we're having none of that. Give it to Jack Howarth and he'll do the rest.
The Melbourne Storm scholarship contracted player. It went down to Melbourne this offseason to do some work with their main NRL squad, and you're seeing the benefits he's reaped from that. Big off the right foot, fending away the 2-metre, 100-kilogram Wilson Blythe, and jotting down under pressure. What a try that is.
Poor defence there by Southport. I mean, give all the credit to Jack Howarth, but very, very poor defence. AB won't be happy with that, and neither will Wally.
Well, he made their job tough, didn't he?
He did indeed. He did indeed.
Phenomenal stuff, though, putting his team on his back. Here's the reverse angle of it. Tough to stop. He's
fantastic try.
An enormous young man, Jack Howarth.
Absolutely fantastic.
Standing 193 centimetres tall, 94 kilograms.
Carter Gordon, 13 from 8 in 2018, 72% kicking accuracy. He's just about 5 metres to the right of the upright today. And you'd have to think, Nick, Carter Gordon, that kick and regather by Shaden Stevens was all the difference, and he has missed that.
Tough. He tried to muscle that one. Well, TSS still ahead 15 points. BBC failed to take full advantage of their opportunity. Will that 2 points come back to bite them?
Well, it may, but I think BBC are doing the right thing. They're putting it up high, having the back three chase and regather. If they can get down to Southport's 22, expect another 5 points from them, no doubt.
Blythe going up, can't come down with it. As the new man, Neal.
Georgie Neal.
The front row back into action. Nongor, supported by Corporal. If you couldn't guess worse, there was 2 of them in there.
I'll tell you what, they look the same.
Roberts dragged down by the try scorer Jack Howarth, and a knock on there. BBC off the hook. And at what point, Tanero, do the BBC boys have to shell their kick-first approach to start to play more attacking rugby to get into the other end of the field?
Well, right now, I mean, you can see that's an uncharacteristic mistake there by Southport. BBC need to get it back down there. Whether they're defending in their own 22 or attacking, they need to play at the other end of the pitch. They've spent all their time, the last 22 minutes, in their own 22. They can't let it happen anymore, otherwise this game's going to run away.
BBC tackling at 78% on the season. 14 turnovers won across 3 games. It's a talented back row.
Set. And I'll tell you what, the scoreboard doesn't reflect what we've seen. A very, very even match. But Southport have been better at taking their advantage, and this is what they need to do. Carter Gordon, stick to the game plan, get it down there, and
That's
chase.
A rainbow of a kick. Tough to bring down. Sumwell has wound up with it in midfield. Puts on his footwork. He's going to go back to the blind side. Skips out of 1. Can't escape the second. Jack Kelly up to the task. As the sport floods in from BBC, putting pressure on this breakdown. Carpy now. Skips out of 1. Offloads to Riddell. It's great football. Unplayable ruck. TSS will get a scrum feed. I think TSS can do a little bit of everything, can't they? They can flash the ball, they can get those offloads working, they can also work on their fundamentals. They can beat you in so many ways.
Well, they're very versatile. I mean, if you look at their forwards, Zane Nongor, Tyrell Corpua, Tom van der Schaaf, impressive here with the ball in hand. I mean, if you look at the back three, Tom Gibson, Dion Samuela, and even Hamish Roberts all had plenty of ball. They just need to use it. They hold themselves to a very, very high standard. They need to use the ball, go forward, and stick to the game plan. Like I said, this game is by no means over.
3 Australian schoolboys in the tight 5 for BBC. For Southport, I apologise. And they're doing a wonderful job of choking BBC out of this match so far.
And look at the size of Reno Gerard.
I know there are some boys at church that still have Reno's footprints marked on them from his performance last year. It looks like Jason Tamalolo, who's throwing tackles everywhere, running for long gains.
Yeah, if you look at the Southport 4-pack, you got the 2 second rows. You got Wilson Blythe and Tom van der Schaaf, followed by a strong back row. Look for them to make their mark both in attack and defence.
Jeans feeds it in for a strong scrummaging outfit. Parata taking the ball to the line, can't find his target. Samuela. Roberts now, oh, that's a knock on surely. Well, looked promising, but a knock on late spilled it.
And it's these mistakes that keep letting BBC into the game. You might think that I'm being very harsh on Southport, but I tell you what, Mike Wallace on the sideline, I would have liked to hear what he's got to say. BBC doing a very good job at shifting across on defence and shutting it down on the outside. But that's what forces Southport back in the inside and to move forward. You know, big forwards like Zane and Tyrell, you don't want to go wide every single time.
If they could eliminate those schoolboy errors, TSS would be unstoppable in this game so far. BBC. And you just wonder if this is the time they chance their arm running it out.
I don't think so. I think Carter Gordon.
Both of us there.
I think Carter Gordon.
Steady, all right? Yeah. Boys, we're going to hold them all right.
Brett Cronin tidying up the scrum. These 2 front rows.
Look for Carter Gordon to put it deep into the TSS 22.
Mine. Set.
Penalty.
Well, that helps.
I can't keep coming, getting in. Next
There haven't been many penalties going BBC's way this half.
No, not at all. You'd have a few old boys on the hill complaining as to why not, but that is a massive let-off for Brisbane Boys College.
Well, it's a great opportunity for BBC to shift their momentum, isn't it? All of a sudden, they've got the territory they've been chasing. They're going to regather it. Stevens for Gordon, wide out the back. He's going to find Howarth. Stepping, drawing in the defence. As Gallagher now goes short for Blyton.
Good shot by Tyrell.
Carter Gordon picks off his bootlaces. Tierney now takes on the defence. Support arrives. It's safe. There's Clancy Doe, looks to take on the line. It's pretty clinical stuff. Howarth now, wide for Bowie Bowen, finding Xavier Savage on the left wing. Can he slip free? In fact, the ball slips free from him.
Good defence there by TSS.
Great defence to shut down what's a very promising little raid on that left wing. As Linden eats a heavy tackle from Blyton. Parata clears the line, puts it well into that BBC crowd sitting on the opposite touchline.
Just going back to the defence, you can see TSS wasn't committing to those rucks. You know, it's a habit that they have if they're defending within their own half to leave the ball alone, which is good because you can shift hard and you can get the ball back as they have done. As we look at the points conceded, Southport School, we talk about their defence, only 42 points conceded this year, closely followed by the Brisbane Boys College and Nudgee. So very, very tight contest at the top 3 this season.
10 points per game allowed, the Southport School, as Stevens threw the line out. And BBC will want to pull some points out of this trip into the 22. They're over it now. Patterson, a key clean out on Van der Schaaf. There's Gordon now in his hands, takes on the line, pops it out in front of Howarth.
Watch Howarth again.
Straightening, stepping. The ball's there for BBC. Gordon again, looking for runners outside him. He's got Wall. Draws 2. And building nicely, BBC. This is the most dangerous they've looked in a while.
They just got to be patient.
Gallagher gets rid of 2. The Stevens little pump fake hesitation move, finding Blair Patterson between the posts. BBC got options either side. They're going to go back to Gordon on this right. If he straightens, there's some space. For Bowie Bowen, oh, the quick hands. Too quick for the debutant, Nick Wald. We're going to stop the clock here. And gee, what a let-off.
He's a bit unlucky there, Nick Ward. He wasn't expecting it. I mean, to think that they would shift it that early in the... They were up about 7 phases. He probably could have taken it in then, but... You know, it happens. It happens. Unlucky, but...
Certainly the right decision by Jack Bowen Bowie to spread that ball wide.
100%.
The nephew of North Queensland Cowboys great, Matty Bowen.
Indeed. Good to see him in action here today.
And the younger brother, another BBC boy, Josh Bowie Bowen from 2013. Played against your brother, Isaac.
Isaac Nathan, my brother, made had his second game for the Southport Eagles last week. Good to see he's doing fantastic things with his football career. The Blue Bomber, they used to call him. Ice the Iceman Nathan.
Looks like that's our halftime break. We haven't even noticed. There we go, taunting. Well, I think we're going to take our break then. If the players are, we shall as well. Until the second half, guys. We'll see you very shortly. Stay tuned to Double Take Sports. Good afternoon and welcome back to the Southport School, the second half of this round 5 clash between the undefeated BBC and TSS First 15s shortly underway. Tanera, we just wanted to recap the first half a little bit. What has happened?
Well, if you look at the scoreboard there, it's 20 points to TSS, BBC 5. That does not reflect what we saw. It is a very close game. TSS, the difference is TSS taking advantage of the opportunities while they're in BBC's half. BBC not necessarily doing the same. The keys to this game obviously are the forwards for the Southport School. Carter Gordon, the key for BBC all season. I'm looking forward to seeing what happens in the second half.
Well, we spoke before the match about how talented and how speedy this BBC back three was. We haven't had a chance to see them in action. In our other stream of the match, second half is just underway at Churchie, where Churchie lead Ipswich Grammar School 19 points to 5 on our secondary screen. I'm having a bit of trouble, Tanera.
Mate, you're doing fantastic. I'm just happy to be with you, let me tell you.
So feel free to check out our secondary stream if you prefer, but obviously we'd love to have you here for this massive top-of-the-table clash. BBC have to fight their way out of a very deep hole.
I'll tell you what, I wouldn't be going anywhere, Nick. Like we said, this is the grand final for this GPS Premiership, quite possibly. And this game is by no means over. BBC looking good when they are in their half. Like I said, the difference was you've got to take advantage of your opportunities.
I think the BBC are exiting quite well. I think they're not giving TSS ample opportunities inside their own 22. What it is, they're struggling to convert on the other end of the field. They can't exert their own pressure.
I agree.
So back underway shortly. Campbell Parata kicking off for the second time of the match. BBC troubled the scorers just the once with a Jack Howarth try. The Southport School, a couple through Spencer Jeans.
Here we go.
And we're back underway. Jack Gallagher takes it down. Carter Gordon signed with Queensland Reds for next year in the academy system. Part of Raylene Castle's Fighting Fund to keep boys from exploring options in rugby league and overseas.
Well, he's a young talent, is Carter Gordon, and so is this guy.
Jack Bowie-Bowen. Gordon now firing into the midfield for Patterson. Offloading very nicely. Tierney behind the back for Heinrich. The red-headed boy from Orange. I beg your pardon, from Dolby.
From Dolby! Just when he thought you couldn't go any further.
As Gordon now. Oh, nice little angle there, run by Jack Kelly, but can't hold on to it. Reno Gerard accelerates forward. He's out of 3-4.
Here he goes.
Tierney gets him on the second effort, brought down, but that's a big carry from the Southport School number 8.
That's what they needed from Reno Gerard.
Parata for Samuela, now Nongor steaming ahead.
Big Zane putting the foot down.
Has he got the speed to go all the way? Not quite. Wrestled down just in the nick of time.
They got numbers on the right, Nick.
But Parata dropping it inside there for Redell.
They got to move it. They got to move it.
Jeans goes back to the blind side. Samuela putting on the footwork. Skips out of a couple, but not out of enough. Jeans looks up both ways. Is he going to go himself?
He could get a double here.
He's got an attitude for 2.
No, that's a penalty. You can't do that.
Yeah, the issue was dragged down by his knee, and once the knee touches the ground, you are tackled.
Yeah, 100%. They needed to move the ball there. When you got BBC on the back foot, you've got to shift it right straight away. You can't let them get settled and set it into their defensive patterns. And once again, Southport let off the hook. Beautiful day here at the Village Green, Nick.
Oh, stunning. You wouldn't want to be anywhere else in GPS Rugby, I'm telling you that.
Absolutely not.
Not a cloud in the sky. But
look at Big Zang. Nongor, put the foot down, son. Go all the way.
Well, I'll tell you what, Taniela Tupou, 135 kilograms, Zane Nongor, 140. Is there much difference in speed?
No, you couldn't tell from that angle. Don't worry, I'll see Zane after the game. I'll give it to him for that one. Nice line-out win there by Nick Wald.
Howarth. Stevens, stutter step for Heinrich to Bowie-Bowen. Shapes the kick, but steps inside. He'll need some support. He's been wrapped up by some bigger bodies, and he's lost it.
Gerard again with the offload.
Roberts. I think the accuracy of this breakdown work from TSS is really something to be marvelled at, isn't it? I mean, it's like the Crusaders, where the accuracy and the clean means you can afford to send one bloke over the ball.
Exactly, and if you see what they're doing, they're blowing past the ball. A lot of teams will like to bridge, or they won't blow past that ball. TSS goes straight past it, and with the second wave coming in, they secure a nice ball for Spencer Jeans. It's a halfback's dream when you've got the ball on a silver platter.
Yeah, and as talented as Spencer Jeans is, he's got a wonderful job playing behind this excellent forward pack, rumbling forward at pace.
Indeed he does. Size, strength and speed in the forwards. Clean ball for the backs. It's the coach's dream, Nick.
Well, Carter Gordon and BBC now looking for their heroes. Who can they have to turn this match around?
Another massive scrum by Southport, and you can see as Reno Gerard picks it off the back.
Wonderful tackle, Carter Gordon. Credit where it's due. Bringing down a much heavier player. Gave up 40 kilograms in that contact. That's a bit of a mess on the ball. TSS should have it back. They do. Pirates now looks short. Jesse Gray accelerating on the unders line. Again, a tempo. Oh, and a bad spill. Hamish Roberts couldn't hold on. BBC have the advantage. They can do something with this if they want.
No, he's done the right thing there. Here's Carter Gordon.
With a torpedo kick. I think bouncing out just outside the 50. It'll be just short of it. So relieves the pressure of the kick, but TSS, the Wolves, are still at the door of the hen house.
I'll tell you what, they have let BBC off the hook that many times in this game. I've lost count. I'll have to look at the stats. But as we see TSS rumble up the field, this is what they need to do. Keep moving forward, send it wide. BBC, I can't fault them at the moment. The defence has been fantastic.
Proving very hard to break down BBC. TSS having to work for all their points.
And as you can see here, unlucky. That was quite unlucky from BBC. I thought they would have forced the turnover there.
Number 3 started off feet.
Number 3, Oscar Rue going off his feet. Incurring the wrath of referee Brett Cronin. So you have to imagine they're going to have a kick for the corner.
Jack Howarth on fire today. He scored 3 tries last week up at Ipswich against IGS. And he's got 1 here at the Southport School in the Village Green. Fantastic right foot step, beating a few defenders to put BBC on the scoreboard for the first time today. Well done, Jack Howarth.
Hailing from Warrabinda, 2 hours west of Rockhampton, Campbell Parata lining up a very wide shot at goal.
Tough kick for a left footer.
Exactly right. It's not from his strong side. Howarth, as we mentioned, off to the Melbourne Storm once his school career wraps up. He's got 2019 in the first 15 as well, though. It's on its way.
It's got the distance. Nice. Very
incredible
nice
kick.
Yeah.
It's an unknown mathematician, but that angle is slight.
No, it is slight. It is tight, and I'll tell you what, there's a reason this guy's going to the Crusaders. He just found out why.
Well, young Oscar Ruru from the BBC, the tight head prop, spent 3 years in the Parramatta Eels Academy before joining BBC. Hailing from Darwin, used to play with young Jacob Blyton in Darwin. So a real country connection from the Northern Territory.
That's a good kick from Carter again.
Samuela flings it back for Parata. Rakes it across the body. And onto the roof of the Shark Tank. On the lid?
The lid of the Shark Tank. I'll tell you what, they didn't have this when I was here. But I'm glad they do now.
I had no idea. Where did you sit before the stadium went up?
There was just a hill, mate. Just a hill.
Back in the good old days.
And doesn't Jake Tierney have his work cut out for him today?
He knows where the hill is.
That's right. Indeed
They're letting him know.
BBC, they've chosen to go to the middle most of the time. 20% at the front. 50% through the middle. And they haven't gone to the back too many times. It's been a tough job for Jake Tierney today. I can't even hear myself.
Overthrown.
And here goes Reno. They love him here at the Shark Tank.
How could they not? Oh, big shot there.
Good shot.
Parata eats one.
That's fair, that's fair.
But he's found Bowie Bowen on the kick.
We're playing footy, not netball.
Some footwork, Samuela. Says Nisa Mother. Some Fijian heritage in there, I'm sure. Samuela. They find Paratar again.
He's got
driving
such
it
nice,
deep.
Such a nice left boot.
Jeez. And Gordon has had to pull off an acrobatic catch. Return serve. We're having a bit of kick tennis.
That's a good kick, though. That's a good kick from Carter.
Finding the dirt behind Dion Samuela. As the fullback drops it onto his right foot. Not the best side for him to be kicking from. And that's a big net gain for BBC. 15 love, Carter Gordon. Well, look at this effort he had here. Gee, there'd be cricketers in the Big Bash. You'd be happy with that catch.
Yeah, he would be. He would be.
16-year-old Jake Tierney with the weight of the Shark tank behind him.
He loves it, though.
Hit his target very nicely, the former Kenmore Bear Jr.
No bagpipes here, Nick.
Got advantage.
And penalty advantage, Clancy Doe picks it up and has a trot.
Yeah, now this is what TSS don't need. I don't mean to sound too critical, but like I said, the scoreboard does not reflect what we've seen here in the game. This game can turn on a dime in any minute.
Well, a nice kick to the corner will go some way into turning it. BBC needs some momentum. Stat. And not the distance he would have liked. Just on the positive side of the TSS 22 for BBC. As Tierney. And this crowd's much quieter now. He can hear himself think now. Taken there. Jack Kelly, the Gold Coast boy. Starved for the Narang Bulls as a youngster. It's Gordon. His new inside centre partner, Heinrich.
Advantage, knock on only.
And there's another knock-on advantage here for BBC. It's time for them to chance their arm. Gallagher now, driving over the 5-metre line.
They've got to give it to Carter. Carter will know what to do.
And this crowd is very quiet now. Boya Bowen, he's going to go close. He scored.
And that's a try for BBC. Like I said, this game can turn on a dime, and with a guy like Carter Gordon, it has.
Just the benefit of having a fly-off, you can make the right decisions all the way through. There's Jack Boya Bowen skipping out of a tackle, dotting down in an essential try for his team.
Well, I'll tell you what, Nick, put Carter Gordon signed to the Reds, but it wouldn't be too long until we see him in a Wallaby jersey. Like you mentioned before the game, you've got Roger Gould, John Rowe, Will Genia, James Hallwell, Tom Banks on the cusp of a green and gold jersey. Another guy that we don't talk too much about is Luke the Bear Shark Foxtrot, 2002-2003 Australian schoolboy and Aussie Sevens representative. He's in the crowd today. He'll be loving what he sees.
There were some players from that vintage, weren't they? Scott Deruta, another boy from TSS
Scott
around
Deruta,
that vintage.
Settled on the coast here.
Tajon Malata, or was he a Nudgy boy? Nudgy boy. Carmichael Hunt as well, running around that 2003 GPS comp. Quite a year for the competition.
Well, 2003 was a fantastic year. You had Cooper Cronk in the Aussie schoolboys. Not a GPS schoolboy. But nonetheless could go down as quite possibly the greatest half in our game other than Jonathan Thurston. Carter Gordon, 0 from 1 today. He'll be looking to change that.
Well, he'll definitely hope so. 23-12 looks a lot better than 23-10.
Nice kick.
Has it gone wide, drifted just over the top of the off-right. None from 2 for Carter Gordon. His side still trailing by 13 points. 2 converted tries will do it for them.
It will. And like I said, this game has changed. BBC well and truly back in it. Do not be deceived, ladies and gentlemen.
And I think one of the hidden benefits of that try for BBC is you take this TSS crowd out of it just a little bit. All of a sudden the boys think, oh, this might not be a 40-point thrashing.
No, it definitely isn't. I never thought it from the start.
As Jack Howarth now, space fires a long ball out for Xavier Savage.
And you don't want to give it to him.
Cairns bred, the third quickest 17-year-old in Australia.
In the words of Lawrence Farage, it's not over until the Big Apple sings.
Is this Reno Gerard in backfield? Not someone you want to kick to.
Go forward, mate.
Only knows one way. TSS keeping it tight for a little bit, but their backline is forming into some shape outside. Options left and right. Well, I'll tell you what, penalty advantage right in front. This might be another 3 points for Campbell Paratar.
Yep. Indeed it will be.
Number 3.
Well, if that's the case and Paratar's boot holds true, that'll be 16 points to the margin. BBC will need to score 3 tries in just over, I suppose, 20 minutes. 70-minute matches in the first 15, 35-minute halves. We're 12 minutes into the second.
Looking to put TSS ahead. He was on the front page of the Gold Coast Bulletin this week, along with Zane Nongor, who was somewhere through the middle. I didn't read that far. But as you see here, Campbell Parati's got a total of 66 points as the leading point scorer in the GPS competition in 2018. Very, very impressive for the future Crusader.
On its way. Low and hard and inaccurate.
Well, the commentator's curse lives true, Nick. I said it before they even made the decision.
Just bring them all behind you, Carter.
So a 22-metre restart for BBC, let off the hook with that uncharacteristic miss from Campbell Parata.
Thanks.
And we've seen some wonderful goal kickers come through the GPS in recent years. Sam Green probably springs to mind as the greatest of them in recent years. Campbell Parata certainly doing something to put his name up in that conversation.
Oh, absolutely. I mean,
Dion Samuela straight through. Woo! The whack on him.
Nice left foot step there.
BBC out of the fry pan and into the fire.
I was going to say that's reminiscent of Isaac Nathan, but that was much better.
Oh, here we go. There's space on this wing. Hamish Roberts streaking down the outside. Savage brings him down, but there's an offload. Jesse Gray.
Go over here, Nick.
Is that a try?
They got to move it to the left.
Zane Nongor from close range. He scored from here before. Held up. Carter Gordon got his hands in there. Important. There it is.
Try time for Campbell Parata.
The TSS fly half. He's got a number of points to his name today. He's added another 5 there. A chance to add 2 points. It might just be the dagger.
Well, you see yourself, Nick, ball movement. The offload here from Hamish Roberts inside to Jesse Gray. They stayed patient. They kept the ball moving. And Campbell Parata putting the knife in the heart of BBC.
Gee, wonderful offload from Hamish Roberts, finding Jesse Gray as he was dragged into touch. I thought Zane Nongor would go very close. Campbell Parata from first receiver. Just powerful from close range. The complete package.
Yep, absolutely. Couldn't agree with you more.
And the signs are ominous for BBC. Behind 20 points with 20 minutes to play. It will be a memorable comeback if they can make it happen.
Well, it's now or never. It's now or never for Brisbane Boys College. I tell you what, they've fought hard. They've done well. Campbell Parata, 5 from 6 today. He has been the difference for me, Nick. I'm not sure if you agree.
5 from 6 goal-kicking performance. A sharpshooter. No doubt BBC will be praying the commentator's curse.
I will say nothing.
A work of art.
And you see what happens when we say nothing.
Like a painter, and the goalposts are his canvas.
Straight through the middle. I tell you what.
Well, I wonder if it's a mental thing for BBC now, because the last few years, I only went back to 2012, but it's been all TSS. And this margin, 20 points, up there with the highest in recent years. 2014 was 46-10.
BBC has not beaten TSS, as we can see, in the last 7 years. Can they make a difference? We'll see. Terrible kick there by Jesse Gray.
In 2016, BBC went into the season as favourites before a game was even played. TSS put a spell on that. They went down 20 points to 17 at this same ground, and that was the last time they'd been here. There's some sauce in this matchup for Southport and BBC. And magic required from the coaching staff for Shane Drum and Stephen Philpotts.
And there you see it again, Wilson Blythe with a fantastic steal.
TSS just clinical at this point. Number 22 coming off the bench, it's Tyler Wright. Benched after last week's performance, he's made his way back onto the field. Zane Nongor taking a wonderful face ball and rummaging out of a tackle. Boyd, he's still going, he can't be stopped.
Go Zane!
Phenomenal stuff. And now TSS queuing up on this right wing. Vanderscape looked to get an arm free for the offload, could not do so. Corpor through the middle.
I'll tell you what, Tommy Vanderscape has been fantastic today. They got to move it to the left.
Nongor, he's hungry for more.
Same as Zane.
straight in the attack. Lovely. Reno Gerard, he's got an arm free. Jake Cheney gets in there and wraps that up. What can they do here? Linden for his second try of the day. He's going to go close. That's a 5-metre line there on top of.
Turnover there by Clancy Doe.
Clancy Doe in the yellow headgear. Snatched one back.
Hold on.
Well, if they're going to win this game, those are the players they need. Clancy Doe. An ugly-looking kick. The duck, Tyler Wright. Arm free, can't offload. But TSS have a backline stretched across this field.
BBC got to defend hard here, Nick. If they don't, it could
Corporal
be all over.
Through the middle. Carpi looks to play back,
Beautiful
goes
shot
himself. Straight through. Gets rid of one, gets rid of two. He's going to go close.
They're hot on the right
Blythe.
side if they can find it. They don't need it.
And that's a try.
Angus Blythe.
Wilson Blythe, I beg your pardon.
Brother of Angus. Scoring out of the post. And you'd have to think, Nick, that could be the defining moment for TSS of this game.
Well, Sticker Fork and then BBC are done. Beautiful play from Ronan Carpi. The fake show and go on the inside and accelerating clear of the line. Probably could have reached out and scored himself. Left that job to Wilson Blythe. 2-metre Peter.
It was always going to be a tough ask for BBC to come and put on a show here at Southport. They're not out of it yet. With a guy like Carter Gordon, you can't count them out in no shape or form. But it's going to be a tough job to come back.
Well, you talk about the GPS as tough as road trips. I mean, any battle between Toowoomba Grammar School and Southport, obviously that stands alone as the hardest trip. Any school coming from Brisbane south to the Southport school, they're up against it because this team is so good at home.
Indeed, the two toughest trips we always had to make was the Jack Ross Oval up at Nudgee College and to Toowoomba Grammar School and that big porridge bowl they got up there. I hated playing at Toowoomba Grammar. Nonetheless, we got the job done there when we were there. But like you said, it is a tough ask to come down to the coast on a beautiful day like this. Southport, they like to play running rugby. They like to go wide. They like to go forward. You never know what they're going to do. Carter Gordon, can he lead them to what could quite possibly be the greatest comeback of the century?
Since Jesus played fullback for Bethlehem.
Let's wait and see.
Up against it, Brisbane Boys College. Carter Gordon takes to the skies.
Nice take there by Van der Scaff.
Aerially so strong.
He's been strong all over the park today, has the old Tom.
Well, a rolling maul. BBC penalised. And I think TSS have not pulled any rabbits out of the hat. It's not magic. It's simple, fundamental rugby and executed in such a tough way to stop.
It's basics. They're sticking to the basics. Simple catch and pass. They're not forcing passes. They're not overcommitting to breakdowns. They're not doing anything other than what they train for. You know, as a former TSS old boy, you know, our online geniuses will hate me for this, but we take pride in that. We take pride in training for what we play for. BBC, fault them. Do not fault them at all.
Guys across.
Just a wonderful performance.
Just a wonderful performance by the Southport School so far.
And deserving winners if they get there. 15 minutes to play, 27 points to deficit.
Tom van der Merwe faultless in the air once again.
Oh, Spencer Jeans, he's got some running in him.
Spencer. Oh. Wilson Blythe with the double.
2 in 2 minutes. And the floodgates are wide open for Southport.
Tyrell Korpua having a good yarn to the BBC forwards there.
Beautiful stuff, all from the back of the wonderful carry from Spencer Jeans. Wonderful win from Van der Scaff. And Jeans was off to the races, fending off Xavier Savage. And a wonderful support line.
Big stiff arm there by Spencer Jeans. He finds Wilson Blythe on the inside. Absolutely faultless so far, and you know, the 40-point thrashing we thought was going to happen, starting to take shape.
Yeah, that's right. It's going to take some stopping Southport on a real roll. And such a defining feature of this school over the years, the second half performances, the strength and conditioning program down here on the Gold Coast, second to none in the GPS.
I'll tell you what, it'd be hard to fault, Nick, you know, with the new facilities here at the Southport School, with guys like, you know, Adrian Blundell in charge of rugby. Second half performance is what TSS thrives on, and they're hard to stop once they get going. Sure, Campbell Parada would appreciate me being quiet here.
Fins up. And that one's wide.
Well, I did say something. I was hoping he'd break the commentator's curse, but Nick, with a 32-point lead, you can't be too fussy.
Well, Tanera, for the audience at home that don't know what we mean when we say fins up, can you describe the scenes in front of us in the grandstand?
Before we go to that, we're going to have a look at the total points up to round 5. Campbell Parada obviously leading the way with 54 points. Rizjan Pasitor in behind with 45. But Campbell Parada well ahead.
Well, the four goal kickers for the 4 best attacking teams all up there. And Jungler Bennett, the Nudgee College fullback, scored 8 tries so far this season. He'll probably add some more to that today.
Indeed, he will be.
Great tackle there. Jack Gallagher making his presence felt. Oh, an error from Parata. BBC swamp him.
Nice tackle there by Jake Tierney.
Carried back in. That's going to be a 5-metre scrum. BBC looking to add some pride to their performance.
Huge thanks to our TSS Old Boys Association, none other than Mr. George Friend. See your local MP for all inquiries.
BBC 2 tries on the day, looking for their 3rd now. They'll have a stoppage in time for TSS captain Tom Vanderscape getting some treatment on that right leg.
Yeah, no, he's not hurt. He's not hurt, I can tell you that much.
Well, just found a comfy spot on the ground.
He has indeed, and I tell you what, running down the clock with 10 to go, BBC, we've seen them do wonders with Jack Howarth rather, while they're attacking on in TSS's half. Can they do it again?
Well, there's some strike weapons all through this BBC backline. Jack Howarth, as I mentioned, already scored a try. Jack Bowen scored a try. Speeds is on the wings. They're a difficult team to defend this position. I think part of the genius of Southport's approach has been not allowing them to get into these positions where they can score points.
Absolutely. And if you look at BBC, their attack in 2018, absolutely faultless until today. 240 runs, 18 offloads, 19 line breaks, most of those obviously coming from their midfield.
Across just 3 games, those stats, but the Southport School's #1 rated defence in the competition stands true today.
And that's one thing to mention. BBC, they've had the bye, so they are 1 game behind. So as much as they are behind on the scoreboard and the game's not over, if they do go down today, do not count them out in any way, shape or form, as we've seen plenty of draws and 3-way ties here in the GPS competition in the last 10 years.
Jack Howarth off the right, getting BBC within 5 metres.
Yes, he's legal, but tackling is.
They've got to go quick here. They've got to
so
go
no
quick.
roll from
And they
Ronan
do.
Carpy. They're going to have the old under-6s play.
They've got to keep the momentum rolling.
Great tackle from Boyd Riddell, wrestling Jack Gallagher down. Gordon,
Beautiful
long
ball.
cut-out ball for Kelly.
Gotta give
Straightening. Kelly's going to go in. There it is.
Beautiful try by Jack Kelly. And that's the way to respond to pure TSS dominance. Come back with your own.
Well, to BBC is so hard to stop. I think we've said it before, but we're going to have to say it again because it's still the case. TSS defence limiting BBC's opportunities within this attacking zone. It has been the secret there to their win today. Jack Kelly, just a well-taken try.
Well, very uncharacteristic of Vanderschaft. He shot up out of the line. TSS, they don't like to incorporate an umbrella defence. They like the shift. They push up and they jockey across. And Carter Gordon, he can't blame me for that one or you, Nick. He has missed that one from the left of the upright. Very, very uncharacteristic by the future Queensland Red.
Well, a day to forget for many of this BBC team. They came in with aspirations of unseating the kings of GPS rugby these days, the Southport School defending champions, and they haven't done it on this performance today. So we're going to chalk one more loss onto the column that's full of TSS victories.
Well, I'll tell you what, like I said, 10 minutes to go. You never know. You never know.
And I suppose our attention should rightly turn to the remaining undefeated teams, Nudgee College and the Southport School, due to face off in round 9. That'll be a grand final at Jack Ross Oval. We've seen a few of those over the years.
And essentially, Nick, that'll be the grand final should BBC not get the job done today.
Well, I think BBC do have a matchup against Nudgee College coming up in the next few weeks, so there's a chance to spoil their party before they get there.
100%, and you know, it's tough coming to the Southport School. Try going to Ross Oval, playing against a tough outfit like Nudgee College. They are the rugby nursery here in Queensland. It's tough.
Really good dominance. Just listen to me if I call you to hold. So angle's fine.
Ross Oval, not Jack Ross Oval. That's the home of Brothers Rugby Club. We've got to make that clear. Don't rock up to Jack Ross Oval in round 9. You won't see a lick.
Ross Oval is the home ground of Nudgee College.
Though you do see plenty of Nudgee royalty over at the Brothers Club these days.
Indeed you do.
Ryan Shepherd, last year's winger, he's in that elite development squad they have there. And a great little tidy inside ball, finding Ronan Karpi, rumbling over the 22-metre line. Space out to the left, Zane Nongor.
Big Zane again. He's had a big game today, has he, Nongor?
So much work done by this TSS front row carrying the ball. The inside ball now, and it's Karpi again. And some strike power out wide. But a turnover.
Nice turnover there by Nick Walt.
The open side flanker, I believe, making his first 15 debut today. Sorry, that was last week. I beg your pardon. So Southport now flexing their GPS rugby muscles, sending a message to the rest of their comp with how they can finish out this game. Oh,
big
monster
shot.
Who was the BBC player went into that?
James Heinrich, I think, Nick.
He's had a couple of big hits, Heinrich.
Actually, it might have been Carter Gordon. Carter Gordon defending out in the middle there.
Oscar Ruru playing the halfback with absolutely no rights to. I think TSS will be appealing for a card there, but nothing in that.
No, nothing at all. Tyrell Korpua not happy with that. Referee couldn't care less about what he thinks. As you can see on the screen there, ladies and gentlemen, Spencer Atto. Yes, that is Spencer Atto. He has put on some serious pounds since being married and having his first child. Do not miss him at the Southport School whatsoever. He is a good bloke, though. Former TSS First 15 rugby player himself. He'll have a lot to say at the break here.
Was it Tiani, the hooker, with that shot? Didn't quite catch it that time either. It was a wonderful hit regardless of who was the jersey behind it. And we've lost our ref, Mike, but Tanera, what do you reckon these two are talking about?
I'll tell you what, I'm not too sure what referees talk about in their spare time. He is calling the two captains together. We've got 7 minutes left in this match. No doubt it'll be in relation to discipline or along those lines, Nick.
Well, the Southport Schools attack, averaging a solid 42 points per game. They're at that point now. Any more tries will push them.
Retaliation probably isn't acceptable. However, I'm not comfortable putting him in the bin if I don't have the person that did it there. All right. So what we're going to do is we're going to go back to the penalty here against 3. I'd suggest that whoever it was, you get them to get that out of the game. All right. All right. So we're going to go back here. Let's have a clean game for the last 6 minutes.
So you don't think that'd be the best?
Yeah, it probably would, but he can't punch.
Well, I'm a big fan of that refereeing.
Brett Cronin. Absolute legend here today. No cards needed.
Tell you boys, sort it out or I will.
That's it. That's exactly.
And I hope that's all I need. Paratar's going to have another shot. He iced his first one from this position not long ago. 45 points to 15 will be the margin with a successful kick.
Can he prove us wrong, Nick? That is the question. Can he prove us wrong? Can he break the curse? And just going back to your question earlier, Nick, fins up means you put your right hand to the middle of your head. I think it's a bit funny. But I'll tell you what.
Fins up, so a shark fin for the TSS Shark Tank.
For the TSS Shark Tank. Put it to the middle of your forehead, and as Campbell goes to kick it, you chop it down. And has he got that one? No, he hasn't.
Another miss. So I think 7 from 9. Campbell Paratar's kicking performance today. I think he won't shed too many tears over missing that one.
No, I don't think he will. If the score was 24-15, he might have, but at the moment we're looking at pure Southport dominance.
There's Van der Scaife in his natural position, fullback, like all tight 5 forwards.
Yes, very comfortable at fullback is Tom Van der Scaife.
Oh, well offside. TSS have a free play.
They've got to give it here.
The offload.
That's Big Bo Matthews.
Spencer Jeans trying to link up with some support. TSS racing up in support. George Neild. Out to the left, there's space. Beautiful short ball for Tyrell Cropper.
Forward.
Well, there's no TMO.
No worries at all.
And I hope we can bring up a replay of this. That offload from Tyrell Cropper to put away the debutant Tom Gibson, a boarder from Papua New Guinea, away on the left wing was something special.
He'll be happy with that, Tom Gibson. As you can see, Georgie Neal charging forward. Spencer Jeans looking for numbers outside.
Beautiful
you can
line.
see here, very, very borderline, but nonetheless, we're not going to argue.
And from a former TSS player as well.
No, of course not.
That's how you know.
Well, let me. Speaking of forward passes, let me talk about one at Ross Oval. Matty Fannington. Oh, sorry, it was Lousy Taliuli on the inside to Matty Fannington. That was clearly forward.
Of course, Lousy now with the Brumbies.
Lousy at the Brumbies.
Playing his Mitre 10 Cup with, I think, Counties Manukau, I believe.
Absolutely he is.
Taking a break from the NRC this year.
And as we say nothing, Campbell Parata slices that one through the middle. Spencer Addo, please step off screen.
He's best off being ignored, Campbell Parata. 49 points to 15.
Absolutely.
The margin. Comprehensive victory here from the Southport School. Just over 3 minutes to play. And BBC, it'll be a long bus ride home, I'll tell you that.
It will be a long bus ride home, but as we start to wrap up the match here, Nick, can I just say a huge thank you to yourself, to Rob and the team here at Double Take Sports. You guys are absolutely unbelievable. Thank you very much for having me in the booth, and I'll tell you what, I look forward to next time, if there is a next time.
Well, I think next time we have to bring out your Southport's good luck charm. But back to the game, Shaden Stevens now straightening the attack for BBC. Support arrives. There's some tired forwards taking a while to get back on side. Clancy Doe is not one of them. Working his way over the halfway line. Behind the back, some space created. Bowie Bowen, electric.
Southport schoolboys very, very vocal with their Akubras on today. Mr. Wayne will be very proud of the way they've cheered for their boys, BBC. Showing pride in their straw hats as well.
Patterson, comfortable on his knees.
Handled it. That's Big Zane Nongor on the bottom there, is it? No, it's not. No, thank goodness.
I think there's a penalty against Blair Patterson not releasing.
Tyrell Korpua strong over the ball. If you look at the size of the quads on that bloke. Not moving him once he gets in a good position.
Well, we mentioned earlier the strength and conditioning program at TSS, second to none. These boys have just petrol for days.
Absolutely.
And if I'm Nudgee College watching this replay tonight, I'm nervous.
Yeah, you would be. But you can't fault Nudgee. At Ross Oval, they are tough to beat. I never beat Nudgee while I was playing until we faced them here in 2009 at home. So look forward to that game in round 9.
Tyler Wright, the long cutout for Hamish Roberts. Beats one, not two. And out to the left, the inside ball for Carpi. He's going to go very close. I think he might be over the line there. He's going to play it back. Reno Gerard
looking for a try.
Spinning,
and
he'll get there.
Gets it. 125 kilo hit and spin there, Nick.
Oh, rubbing salt into the wounds.
Reminiscent of you playing for BGS.
I wish I had moves like that. It's out of Madden, isn't it? Well, call this for me. Talk it through. What's his mindset here?
I'll tell you what, there's no stopping Reno Gerard from that point. Like you said, he is Taumalolo-esque in his movement, and he was there. And
Campbell Parata relinquished the kicking tee.
James Heinrich stepping up to the plate.
Jesse Gray.
Jesse Gray. Is it Jesse Gray?
It is Jesse Gray.
Sorry, it's my first day on the job.
So it's his as well, making his first 15 debut today.
Indeed,
he steered the Southport School's second 15 to an undefeated season so far. They didn't have access to him in their game, but they had an absolute thriller. We showed the replay of the final moments before the match. 22 points to 19 with a 45-metre penalty, the winning margin.
Indeed it was. And Jesse Gray looking for his first points today. He doesn't find them. You can thank me for that, Jesse.
Not a bad-looking kick, just the lines off.
Full time.
Full time, that'll be it. Southport running up the score in the second half, 54 points to 15. The final margin, the BBC, their destiny. If they're going to have a share in their first premiership since 1954, it's out of their hands. They need to hope that BBC and TSS both lose one more game over the course of this season. And on this sort of form, that's a tough ask.
It is a tough ask, and I can't see TSS losing at this stage. If they show up every day like they did. First half, very, very rusty. Can't fault BBC, but TSS, just too good.
On days like this, you can't stop teams when they're this professional in their approach there. Wonderful side, well drilled, well coached by Adrian Blundell, the director of rugby here at TSS. Coach Mike Wallace has had plenty of Australian schoolboys experience himself. My name is Nick Darvanese. Joining me, Tanner and Nathan, making your first 15 debut behind the mic. I hope you've enjoyed it. Your team got off to a great game for you.
Thank you very much, Nick, and a huge thanks again to Double Take Sports and the TSS staff here. Look forward to being with you once again.
Well, while we wrap up the rest of this, we'll show you the handshakes and all that sort of fun action going on, the sportsmanship on display. We're going to have a quick look to see if we can find out the schedules for the other schools going forward. Round 6, Churchy play host to Brisbane State High School at Oakland's Parade. BBC will have to lick their wounds and come back to fight off a challenge from an angry-looking Toowoomba Grammar School 15 who've let in a lot of points themselves. That'll be a high-scoring clash. Nudgee College have their turn to face these upstarts at Brisbane Grammar School, while TSS, you mentioned their Old Boys Day next week.
Old Boys Day next week up against Gregory Terrace. I'll be on the Old Boy Hill for that one, and I tell you what, look forward to Terrace to come out firing, but it's a hard ass coming to the Shark Tank.
Well, in our other stream match of the round, if you didn't get a chance to see it, Churchy have defeated Ipswich Grammar School at their home in Oakland's Parade, 31 points to 17, so extending their hold on the mid-table. Full-time here, 54 points to 15. Campbell Paratas, spectacular with the boot. The TSS front row, Campbell, Zane Nongor, Tyrell Corporal among the best. Tom Vanderscape as well.
Tom Vanderscape was the one for me. Ball carries early in the first, faultless in the line-out, along with Zane Nongor charging. He made a 50-metre break up the middle there. He'll probably go home and tell his parents that it was a full-field try. Nonetheless, we thank, obviously everyone involved in today, and TSS, like I said, far too strong.
Far too strong. That'll be it for round 5 of the Queensland GPS First 15 Rugby Competition. I've been Nick Darvanese. Joining me, Tanner and Nathan. We'll see you guys next week for another cracking instalment of GPS First 15 Rugby.